Alright, I've already hit record just now, so just making sure audio's coming through fine. Alright. Can you guys just quickly talk, just make sure your audio's coming through?
I am ready for a magical day.
Okay, yeah, it's coming through. Nice.
I have stuff prepared, and I await your opening statements for when we get to the prediction.
Alright then. So first things first, we'll do the meme of the day. So how do you pronounce his name? Spadina. That's how you pronounce it.
Spadina, yeah.
Okay, it's going to be weird to say really fast. Like, try and say that so many times in a row, saying it really fast.
Spadina, Spadina, Spadina.
That's not fast. Spadina. Like that, mate.
I didn't specify how fast.
What do you take as fast? Oh,
okay, how about this? But
that you didn't even make.
Impressive.
You didn't even say it. You just went bah.
Thank you, Sean.
Oh.
I said it that fast.
Is it too late to get Jaru back?
You said he doesn't like Death Battle anymore, so yes.
Good point.
He's also ranting on Arcane right now, so now's not the best time.
By the way, at some
But we're not talking about Jinx, so.
Yeah, true.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have this be like the end. This is gonna be the after this discussion because I feel like this is too funny to not let it be on the internet.
Or just have it as like a separate thing.
Yeah, like
That's out of context.
a behind the scenes of when we start.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, you guys are great. Alright then. So, this meme of the day is brought to you by Are You Winning Here? Oh, shit, I knew I should have gotten Gambit. Brought to you by Spadina.
Hey, we have a new meme of the day, King. Congratulations.
Yeah, screw you, Yang. You say we don't need your memes anymore. Is that a knocking at my door?
Don't stop!
Hello, ladies and germs, and welcome to our magical episode of Lads Discuss Death Battle with Billy, who just smacked his tea mug and burnt his hand. Ouch. And your only mate.
Oh, you really shouldn't do that.
And Sean.
This was entertaining. Oh, look, bunnies!
R.I.P. buddies. I won't lie, out of all the characters that have died in Death Battle, like, you know, side characters in the fight, the bunnies definitely got it worse.
Yeah.
Then again, Dan
I think I
Hibiki
printed the
did get
playing
crushed.
card.
Then again, Dan Hibiki did get crushed by a pillar, so I don't know. Maybe that's up for debate.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's more merciful than his actual death battle.
that's true.
I mean, this was also a fun debate to talk about.
Yes, so, Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna. And I'm just going to straight up just say it. This is my favourite episode so far.
Wow. There's only 2 episodes so far.
I know, and that really goes to show. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Harley Quinn versus Jinx was mediocre now. No, that's still a good episode, but wow, this episode, first of all, and this might be, you know, something I don't bring up a lot, I enjoy more death battles where I don't know the characters than when I do watch an episode with a character I'm familiar with.
That's a good way to look at it, though, because, like, you learn so much about characters, and it's why I love Guts versus Nightmare so much, because I didn't know anything about Guts.
Yeah, because I'll briefly mention this. I've watched episodes, you know, with a lot of characters I'm familiar with, but the problem is, I feel like you kind of put yourself in an awkward position where you want that character then represented good, and if they're not good, you're going to hate the episode, or if they're really represented well, you're going to really like the episode. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, really. Whereas if it's a character you're not familiar with at all, it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to learn about this character. And Zatanna, even though I'm a DC fan, if it isn't obvious at this point, I've seen her and stuff, never really looked up anything about her. I didn't even know she was apparently one of DC's early heroes, like Superman.
Well, it was more so like her dad was one of the early heroes.
But yeah, she was also alongside him, though.
Look,
She was pretty much being raised from when he started, essentially.
Yeah,
yeah, there we
Her
go.
own thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's been there since the early days of Superman. You know, when he was only faster than a speeding bullet. I wonder how that would go now. Faster than fucking time itself.
And that's without Speed Force.
Oh yeah, the fact Superman can somehow move faster than the Speed Force. DC Comics have gotten weird.
Yeah. Superman doesn't even need to say it's Speed Force, ain't gotta explain shit.
He just needs to go, I'm Superman.
Although that would infringe on Batman's whole "I'm Batman" thing, you know?
Oh, and speaking of Superman,
Yes.
Well,
we got a brief fight between him and the Hulk in this episode too. Spoiler alert, Superman wins that as an actual death battle, just saying.
Yeah, to quote Max a few trades, you get destroyed, Hulk. It's...
I mean, we also got Wonder Woman versus Thor again.
And 4-1 this time.
Yeah, do you know, I was really thinking they were going to bring in all the Justice League versus the Avengers, somewhat teasing, you know, what could be, you know, I feel like this fight's going to be inedible, the Avengers versus the Justice League.
Oh, rip
Yeah,
the
it's just
Avengers.
like... Yeah, it's just like, how exactly do you do that as well? Because, like, in Marvel Comics, basically everyone has been an Avenger. Like,
Yeah.
at some point. So, like, what roster do you go with? Or do you just do, like, the entire Marvel Universe versus the entire DC Universe?
I feel sorry for the researchers that did that. Anyway, though, we're getting off topic. Somewhat.
I feel sorry for the researchers who did this episode, because Jesus Christ!
Holy shit. This was ridiculously close. And spoilers! We were all wrong!
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
that quote
For the first time.
That quote I
Since
said in the last episode is already outdated. And big shocker, lads get the result right. Jinx won.
Yay! I mean, it happens. And this is the first time we all have been wrong since all three of us have started hosting this show.
Yeah, it's a feat.
Oh yeah, it is.
I guess. Though at the same time, though,
Yeah.
Proboscast was wrong as well, so winning.
Oh yeah, for both episodes.
I mean, if you look at the video I did with Richard, he was trying to say he was hedging his bets with Zatanna.
Oh yeah, Richard always says that. He goes for
but
one
if we're
side.
going off of like what's public on YouTube before the fight came out,
Yeah, I know. But I was going to say, like, this outcome has some people really being split, though. Like, people have gone on rants about this outcome.
Actually, I've seen the opposite. Somewhat.
Oh. I tweeted this at Yang, and here's just one of the things I found. First of all, before I post this, I'm just going to say I'm okay with this outcome. I did not expect it, but I did remember bringing up the mental defenses being a factor for Scarlet Witch to lose.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Sean once again predicts the future.
This happens 3 times in a row. I don't like this.
I can see the future.
Oh, that needs to be a meme of the day.
No.
Whoever makes all
There's
those...
the tweet.
Whoever makes those memes of the day, you know what? Get on that. Oh yes, I've seen this. Okay, first
Yeah.
off, okay, I'm not gonna say their full
Well, that same
Twitter.
person replied to me.
I'm not gonna say the full name of this Twitter user because I don't want him to get flack. But he literally has Wanda in his name, or her
Yeah.
name. Like,
This is what we call a classic. I'm not gonna say it out loud so Bill doesn't get banned. So I'm just gonna type it. This is what we call a that.
oh, that's okay. If you said
No,
Mick,
that's the thing on Twitch at least. You
Okay.
can get banned for saying that.
okay,
Wait, seriously?
Yep.
okay, fair enough. I was going to say that if you said something like Mick, then I totally would probably be at the risk of, being flacked. But hey, I'm Irish, so I'm allowed to say Mick. Suck it.
Oh, fun. Fun fact, by the way, this is the person who tried to spoil it for me, but I turned notifications off, bitch.
Oh
Yay.
wow. Okay, mate. Even though I'm not going to reveal your Twitter name. You're a dick for attempting that. As Sonic said before Sonic 2 released, don't spoil anything.
Yeah. That's another third top. That's a mini rant we need to have at least at some point. People who try to spoil death battles for reactors.
Yeah.
It's just saddos who want attention.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about this Twitter user. Okay, so I'm going to briefly talk about my thoughts on this episode. First off, learning about Zatanna was a lot of fun, and you know what? I might even start looking up her comics. Maybe not her Dark Justice League stories. I've heard they're not that great, and they completely changed her design and it looks. Someone sent this picture to me. I'll put it on screen on the video. Yeah, I have to admit, I definitely prefer her magician outfit over what looks like a slutty emo Wonder Woman. Yeah, I had
Slutty emo Wonder Woman. That sounds like a goth version of your dream girl.
I'm not into gothic stuff. What the fuck are you on about?
I meant Wonder Woman is your dream girl. It's just in a gothic version.
Oh yeah, true. I want her to step on me.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I've said I wanted Harley Quinn to peg me in this podcast. Now I've said I want Wonder Woman to step on me. I'm starting to think I have a fetish that I've never realised.
A fetish for DC? Maybe.
Or just pain.
Ouch. Wait, pain from Naruto?
Sean, that was weak. I'm sorry, mate. Usually you have the good ones, but that was just weak.
That's the only character I can think of that starts with the name of Pain.
Anyway.
Funny Patrick gif.
Anyway.
Later.
So, Zatanna was cool to learn about, and now, as terms of the fight itself, I had to admit, even though I was still certain that Scarlet Witch was going to win, I was rooting for Zatanna at the end. And even though I was wrong on who won, I was still happy Zatanna won, because honestly, her analysis... Honestly, she's a likable character. I can see why. And that's the thing I've seen.
Absolutely.
When Sean brought up a lot of people are angry about this, I've seen people actually get happy Scarlet lost, even though the people that disagree with the episode are happy Zatanna won. So, that's just crazy. I never realised Zatanna had such a fan base, because I barely know anything. I'm not going to add, like, you know, I've read everything DC, but it really is sad that I've not read much about this character, because the fact that people were so happy that the episode was quote-unquote wrong, that Zatanna won. That's commendable. Like, she's had that much of a big impact on nerd culture. Because I was really thinking everyone loved Scarlet Witch, but I was surprised to see that not many people... I want to say comic book version. MCU Scarlet Witch has a fan base, but... Man, people hate comic book Scarlet Witch. I was like, wow. I never realised this.
I think, you know, considering that Wanda is just one of those characters that gets given everything and it's just like a little cold-hearted a lot more times than Zatanna can be. People can't really relate to Wanda that much. Well, I feel like more people relate to Zatanna, especially with the whole she loses her dad a lot kind of deal.
Yeah.
I'll also say I just like the more simpleness of Zatanna. It's just like with her magic, yeah, she'll just put on a show and make people happy.
Yeah, which is really commendable that she could easily just destroy the universe or make people bow to her. But no, she just wants to do simple spells to entertain people. It's like, wow, you have all this power. You could do so much of it, and you just want to entertain people. That's sweet.
Yeah. And then, meanwhile, you've got Wanda, who, they even said in the episode, she just wants a simple life as, a wife and mother. But Satan even is just like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
Wanda, fuck you.
Wanda, fuck you. And now, in terms of the fight itself, do you know what? I love the creativity in this episode. I'm sure Mate and Sean want to bring their opinions on it. So, sawing Wanda in half, that was, oof. I thought she was going to do something like, the sword trick. When they stab swords into the box, then reveal,
yeah,
that could have worked too.
Now that I mention it, I feel like either one of those would have just been brutal. She could have easily just, erased her from existence. She was just like, nah, I want to saw her in half and then show her corpse to the audience as they cheer. It's like, what the fuck? I love that death.
Yay, murder!
Again, replay the GIF I posted earlier. That's the audience after seeing that.
You know what? We can actually just say the audience are the Ruby Shadow people.
Fine.
Maybe. Although...
Oh, do you not... Mate, do you want to bring up this Easter egg? Because a friend of yours showed me it.
Okay, so this was pointed out to me on Twitter by a user named. Hang on, let me just pull it up so I make 100% sure I get that name right. It's at TimmyBoy121. So those cards the rabbits turn into, and one that catches one that turns out to be Superman. But you see others like just flying through the air. Those are cards from the Death Battle card and dice game.
Is there a specific card you want to bring up, though?
Well, I was just gonna say that's a fantastic Easter egg, and I actually have my cards from my own copy of the game. Just so I can read those off. At one point, there's Cheese Master, which is just Gus from Rooster's Eve. There's Silver Eyes, that's in there too, which, duh, it's Ruby. And of course, there's the one I was happy to see, which is Shadow Semblance, which is Blake.
Oh, what? That's twice in a row that Blake has been referenced in Death Battles?
Right?
Apparently.
Jesus, even Yang didn't
Does
get
this mean
many
Blake
references.
is... Does this mean just Blake is gonna be the new, like, Death Battle Dab?
I was thinking Blake is going to
maybe?
be the Rooster Teeth Deadpool at this point with all the references.
Yeah, but it's not like as in your face.
True.
Like, she's not physically showing up in anything.
I mean, technically she did in Jinx versus Harley, so...
But that was more so, like, Jinx and Harley going to her fight.
But when it came to this fight as well, I loved how different their personalities were and how Scarlet Witch was trying to be so intimidating with her powers, yet Zatanna's just... Like, Zatanna in this fight was pretty much, I don't give a fuck. Let's be real here. It's like...
I mean, she made a Megamind quote, for fuck's
I
sake.
know, I bursted out laughing. The difference between you and I is power. Well, I think the difference is presentation.
Is that foreshadowing?
Oh, I'd love to make a mind in a death battle, especially against Gru.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely gonna be the fight he's in. And, you know, I think they did like a thing on Reddit at one point, and Gru versus Megamind was like the most popular matchup.
Anyway, we'll talk about that fight when that inevitably becomes a death battle. So to end up my thoughts, yeah, this episode was great. It was funny. Zatanna, I'm really looking forward to reading more of her stories, maybe even looking into more stuff she appears in. And the animation as well, I haven't given Death Battle this much credit, and I don't think anyone really gives them this much credit. Their sprite animations, like expressions on the sprite characters, are really funny and really so much detail. Like when Zatanna's throwing like the universes at Scarlet's head, and you see a quick moment, she's like twitching in annoyance in her eye. It's like, it's subtle and I love it.
Yeah. I just love the shot afterwards too of Zatanna just juggling universes like it's no big deal. She does this every day.
Well, I'm also giving
That's
a smirk.
cute.
Like, Zatanna's precious. She needs to be protected.
Bill has another DC waifu to add to his list of growing DC waifus.
No, she's not waifu material, but she is one of those characters that's like, you know what? She is precious and must be protected. And that's all my thoughts. I don't want to go on for too long, but basically, I love the animation. I love being introduced to Zatanna. Scarlet Witch, you know, she's quite cool. I don't think she deserves to hate from everything they described of her. She doesn't look like a character that deserves hate.
Yeah. There's also just sometimes where I hear people hate a character from comics and I generally just don't understand it. Or okay, this is more so in the movies, but I've seen like so many people say they hate Captain Marvel, specifically the movie version.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't get why.
Neither do I.
Like, people have even tried to explain it to me, and I've just been like, I still don't get it.
Like, I will say, Brie Larson, I think's a bitch. I will say that, and I don't think anyone could dispute that. However, the actress doesn't represent the character. To an extent. You know, like... You know, if you go to comic books, she's very different from the MCU version. But yeah, Scarlet Witch is just one of those characters where, you know, in her death arc, she was pretty awesome. She had even a few comedic moments. She doesn't deserve the hate, and this episode made me appreciate the two characters a lot more, which I always look for in a death battle to do.
Oh yeah, like it. I should mention Holly versus Jinx did that for me as well, and so that's 2 episodes back to back that have given me appreciation for characters I either knew of but didn't know too well, or just didn't know about entirely.
So, do you guys want to add anything for these characters? Or this fight, sorry?
Yeah.
I should also mention I'm going like back through the fight at like 0.25 speed, just when they're in like the place for the universes, to see if I can spot one of the constellations in the background.
You're early, mate. Reactor by day, Easter egg hunter by the afternoon. And by midnight, he's a werewolf. That's canon to Lad's lore now.
Oh god, we've had a vampire as a guest, and now we got a werewolf.
Sean, how do you feel like being a Frankenstein?
But when I'm a werewolf, it's not like Howl at the Moon, like go feral. It's just no, I'm just weirdly good at Mario Kart.
So
Robuscus and ZDogg know all about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you guys think of this episode? What was the highlights for you?
So, I definitely love the presentation that Lauren did for Zatanna. Like, oh my gosh, she was like really Zatanna. Honestly, like the personality and tone of her was perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised you didn't just scream presentation when you mentioned that.
Oh come on. I could have, but I chose not to. Also, Cassandra, I like the accent she gave Wanda. I like the accent.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, after the MCU, it's kind of like weird hearing Wanda with an accent, because, like, okay, she started off with an accent, but then it just suddenly disappeared. And then it's back here, so I'm just like, well, does she have an accent or not?
We don't talk about the early days of MCU Wanda. Those were dark times.
Although I love how they approach it in WandaVision, though. When she's talking to Quicksilver. What happened to your accent? What happened to yours?
To be honest, when is the MCU ever consistent?
Ever?
Oh, dang it, when is comic books ever consistent?
That is also fair. Since we're shouting out people, I do want to shout out someone else because I saw their video. Brandon Dillite actually went ahead and reversed Zatanna's spells.
Oh, I saw that.
I should mention I did that as well after I edited my reaction.
Oh, I heard.
So props to them for making a video on it.
Yeah, I heard the following. Like, rabbit out of a hat, chains ensnare her, or turn into bunnies. Although at the very end,
rabbits.
Yeah, become rabbits. At the very end, she even says, "No more witches backwards."
Yeah.
Oh, and the barrier that she puts up and starts talking backwards before the "no more" sound. She's trying to set up a spell that would turn Wanda's magic against her.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if Lauren actually spoke backwards or what they more likely did.
No, there's no way.
And then and then reverse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a headache.
That's what you do. You have the person say the line, and then you just reverse the audio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think what's kind of awkward about that is that it won't sound as natural if you were to actually say it backwards. But at the same time, though, it's like it's a headache because you then have to not only learn the lines you're about to say, you now have to say it backwards like you knew this at the top of your head.
I mean, I feel like the way they handled it with this script is they had it in one sentence, like at the beginning, and then just have a pause, like a little bit afterwards. So it made it easier, like to do it for editing.
Yeah.
There are like a couple issues I've seen people bring up though that I just want to talk about real quick because why not? And also I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the issues that some people have, like the length. Some people thought was too short. I'm just like, I think it's serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't meant to be like some big episode, like a premiere or a mid-episode, or mid-season finale. This is just meant to be, you know... I know people look at this as a negative thing. It is meant to be a filler episode. Now, I'm not saying the filler episode's, you know, just one of those they just pull out of a hat like Zatanna with bunnies and say, alright, we'll just do this. No, they put effort into it as much, but they need to consider, right, what should we focus our A-game animation on, like? Because if every episode went on, like, Popeye versus Zatanna... Popeye versus Zatanna? Now, that's a fight I'd love to see. But Popeye versus Saitama, they both have similar sounding names, I get it mixed up.
Although that'd be a funny thumbnail that someone could make for you.
To be fair though, I would actually love to see how that would go. Popeye versus Zatanna. Both...
ZDogg, make a trailer for Bill now.
ZDogg, if you actually are watching, I would love to see that, because you know, I ironically would love to see that. Anyway, so yeah, if every episode was like Saitama versus Popeye, yeah, I think the animation team would just get not only drained of energy, but also the budget would just be non-existent at that point.
Now, if you want to talk about like an episode that's super long, how about the original Goku versus Superman?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So that fight,
even,
oh damn, that went on for a while.
Snake vs. Sam was like 8 minutes too.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, so I think that it's good to save, like, you know, depending on as well as the big, like, fights, the most requested, because Scarlet versus Zatanna, I did see was highly requested, but I don't think these characters are as big as, say, something like Goku versus Superman, Popeye versus Saitama, Sonic versus Mario. You know, it's like, you really should save, like, your A game for those, while still giving effort for these episodes to be entertaining. You know, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And the only other, like, big old thing I want to talk about real quick, because, like, I have a feeling we're all kind of neutral on the soundtrack at this point. The lighting in the beginning, like, I know it was, like, for a magical performance, but it just felt and looked kind of off.
Really? I didn't really pay attention to that.
I thought it was, like, a little bit too bright, like, at the beginning.
Well, yeah, there's spotlights.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a magical presentation.
It felt weird. It felt weird on the sprites, though, for a bit.
No, I think the sprites actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
What would have been awkward is if, you know, the show was all bright and colourful, but then the sprites look like they're in a dim-litted room.
That's fair. It just looked off to me.
I also just kind of want to point out just something funny. Well, no, two things kind of funny. So, Zatanna says backwards to pull a rabbit out of a hat and accidentally just summons Wanda. So, does that mean Wanda Maximoff is secretly a rabbit faunus?
That's not where my brain was going. My brain was
You know
thinking
what, can we-
Playboy money.
You know what, can we have a deleted... Okay, that would have been funny too. Can we have a deleted scene of just, like, Zatanna just, like, pulling Velvet out of a hat? And it goes exactly like in Chibi, which just beats the crap out of whoever pulled her out.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That would be great.
And the other thing, so Wanda's first line to Zatanna is, "What sort of 2-bit sorceress are you?" At the end of the fight, she's literally in 2 bits.
Oh my god, that's the second time the loser foreshadowed their death this season.
Why are characters jinxing themselves?
One literally jinxed herself in front of Jinx.
I don't know why they're doing that. Like, the devs honestly have been so far so good this season, even if they are jinxing themselves with it.
Do you know what? If the rest of this episode keeps on having the losers foreshadow their deaths, I want someone to do a montage of Jinx's theme played over all their deaths.
Oh, yeah, that's called, like, Get Jinxed, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's... that would be funny. I think overall, though, like, this was legitimately like Doctor Strange, which is Doctor Strange, but with boobs. Like, even the outcome.
I
Yeah.
can't believe we're calling it that.
Yeah. It's kind of true, actually. You know, everyone hyped up Doctor Strange. Like, oh yeah, Doctor Strange will defeat Fate. Fate ends up completely wrecking
I heard
him.
the exact opposite.
No, I remember seeing, like, on Reddit, Discords, and Twitter, people were going for Strange. Obviously, because, you know, MCU was popular. That's why I feel like...
Consensus I always heard with that was the Fate would win.
Well, did you hear that
I
from...
think you were in a different area at that time or something. Because I've heard Strange was winning.
Also, mate, to be clear, was this with people you know and not like the general consent from like audiences?
Some people I know and just like things I've heard just around. Like I heard way more people say that they were going for Dr. Fate.
Right, because yeah, here's the thing. People always, and this is from Death Battle viewers in general, or Twitter, many people just go for the popular person. Like, you know, and I feel like the reason more people are going for Scarlet Witch because MCU. Because that's what I've always noticed when it comes to Marvel versus DC characters. Like, if it's a Marvel character in the MCU, people are going to root for them. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I've just noticed that, you know, even if it's like, this character stomps though, it's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, this character would get destroyed. Like Iron Fist versus Poe, believe it or not, I was seeing a lot of people actually saying Iron Fist was going to win on Twitter.
I heard more people say Poe.
Maybe
I heard a lot of people say Poe, but that was mostly from Duo server.
Yeah, because this is what I was really surprised to hear, that Iron Fist, even though his show was bad, more people were rooting for him because he's in the MCU.
That's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah, that is weird. It's like, okay, even if the character is unlikable or they barely had any screen time, you're going to root for them? That was the general concern I was getting with Scarlet Witch, because barely anyone really brings up like counter arguments to a lot of Zatanna's abilities, because like, everything Scarlet Witch can do, it seems as though Zatanna can do it, and plus she has more focus.
Yeah, that was legit one of the points they brought up, is that they could counter each other with all their spells, so it legit came down to the weaknesses that those two had. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so... And honestly, yeah, I feel like that's a legit reason, because I think this is one of those fights where it's literally 50-50. But in Zatanna's case, she was lucky to be 51 over Scarlet Witch's 49.
Yeah, I remember like Max brought this up in his reaction. Sometimes a fight can look like, well, it looks like there's almost no winner, but then someone has like that like loophole way of winning. Like for example, Ghost Rider and Lobo, penance stare, boom, there we go.
Well, I disagree with that, but that's a topic for another time.
But I get the point of how close this was. This is probably going to be the closest episode this season. Like, they couldn't compare numbers that well either. It legit came down to one aspect for each of these characters, and that was it.
Someone in the comments of my reaction pointed out there were like no numbers in this.
Yeah.
Well, because that's
like, when you have spells that can do whatever like you want to do,
then there's no point in even trying.
Not only that, when you consider that realistically these characters could be killed by honestly just shooting them in the face. The problem is though, it's like they could just say no to that. Like theoretically, they could die by any normal means. It's just their magics. You just have to get through all that.
You say that. I do kind of like how in Wonder's analysis they bring up, oh yeah, she's just got a regular mortal human's body that can be easily overpowered. Though she survived being shot by this bullet that was capable of, and I quote, world-shattering energy.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, but you could blitz her. But then she blocked Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that was great. Since we're at the half an hour mark, is there anything else you two want to add for this? Because I've said my piece. I'm good. I love the episode.
I'll also just add that I've been like trying to go through that like cards bit to see if I can find any other cards from the card game.
Yeah, what a fun scene that was, referencing Yu-Gi-Oh! Nice.
Oh, they could have had like a bunch of like they could have had like Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh! They could have had like all sorts.
Yeah, but I think those were all tarot card designs actually. If they weren't playing cards, those legitimately looked like the back of tarot cards.
I mean, they could have just been card sleeves.
That too.
Yeah, I will say though, the Shadow Semblance card that comes up a lot. Like that one in particular, I keep like pausing and I keep seeing that one.
Yeah, to be fair, when it even though I'm not a huge fan of Blake, I have to admit she does have the best semblance out of the four. You know, the ability
So
to...
you want to hear what her card actually does in the card game?
Sure.
Copy the dice and ability from another skill card in play.
I suppose that's kind of like... I suppose that's kind of like what it does in the show.
Well, I mean, if you use it right, that can be, like, super OP.
Oh yeah, also, I suppose you guys have seen, I guess since we're wrapping up this episode, yeah, I think we might have a new contender for Best Smirks, and it's, yeah, that end smirk she does. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, it's so memeable. I mean, one of the other memes we had used this smirk as well, but it's just like, this smirk is good, but I really just prefer Thawns.
Dude, there was so many memes I've seen about
Oh
this.
my god, I found another one!
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Okay,
no.
quickly say it and I'll say the other memes.
The card I found is Pummel Horse, which is literally Chad getting hit in the nuts.
Oof. Poor Chad.
Sprite Animators were just like, yeah, this will be a fun idea. Thank you, director.
But yeah, you know that bit, do you guys know that meme where it shows like, I don't know, a simple font like, PC gaming, and it shows like their minds being slightly blown, but then as it gets further down, the characters' minds are getting even more blown?
Yes.
I was seeing that for like a Death Battle one. I can't remember this specific one, but I think it was something like when anime versus anime in Death Battle shows Scarlet slightly smirking. It's like when it's comic books versus comic book, just mind blown. I don't know.
Yes.
I like that. It's simple, but it's just crazy the amount of memes have spawned from this, and we have the Sprite Animators to thank for that.
I hope this season keeps producing more memes like this, honestly.
Memes for days. And I know there's one meme I'm gonna milk when Boba Fett's episode comes out.
No, they'll just take a step back and breathe for a second. We have to talk about the next time.
Of course, but I'll put it on screen just so people can get an idea.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
That was good, Sean. That was good.
You've definitely been improving since your last few mismatches with those segues.
I'm trying. So no more bad puns for me, hopefully. That one's clever if you know JoJo.
Alright then, so, have we all said our piece about Zatanna versus Scarlet Witch?
Yes, sir.
I think so.